News 3 is taking action for your money. Tax day is later this year, but there's still a lot of planning that should go into your tax strategy.
Yeah, News 3 anchor Todd Carrillo talked with our financial expert, Carl Carlson, to find out what you should consider.
So it's not always just about, so I think oftentimes people are just thinking, should I put money into my traditional IRA or can I? And if so, how much? And then maybe even go in that next step to say, maybe I should do it in the Roth. But that is definitely not everything you need to be thinking about when it comes to tax planning. So let me give you 7 key things that people need to be thinking about. So because you need to think about not only today, but you also, when it comes to tax planning, you need to think about tomorrow, next year, and 20 years down the road. So part of that is you're going to be thinking about things like, all right, when it comes time for me to start Social Security, number one, what are my Social Security claiming strategies going to look like? Because that's going to involve taking money out of IRAs or Roth IRAs when you start thinking about Social Security, as well as number 2, Roth conversions. So if you have an IRA and want to convert it to a Roth IRA, you have to pay the taxes the year you do that, but then the Roth is forever tax-free. So that's number 2. Number 3, withdrawal strategies. Which type of accounts do I take money out of and when? So when you're ready to take money out of, do you take it out of an IRA, a Roth IRA, a non-qualified account, and how much out of each of those? So that's number 3. Number 4 is, how do I coordinate my itemized deductions with my withdrawal strategies? So that might be, if you had a year where you had a lot of medical expenses, well, maybe in that year you double up on your charitable contributions or triple up, and then for the next year or 2 you don't do the charitable contributions, but that way you bunch them all into one year, and then you can take more money that year out of your IRA and not have to pay any tax on it or less taxes, and then the next year you go back to the Roth IRA. So that's number 4. Number 5, what type of accounts should I have? Should I have an IRA and a Roth IRA and a non-qualified account? And maybe I own a CD that's taxable every year, or maybe I own a fixed annuity that's tax deferred. So that's number 5. Number 6 is, if I have these different types of accounts, which investments do I own in each separate type of account? Now, that's very strategic. And then number 7 is life insurance. How do I coordinate my life insurance products into my tax planning? So as you see there, Todd, it's not just about, do I put money into my IRA? It has to involve all those things to really do great tax planning.
And Carl adds that it's important for you to make sure what you're doing this year fits into an overall lifelong tax planning strategy.